Welcome to a sunny and warm Knockhill racing circuit for the 6th round of the Celtic Speed Scottish Mini Cooper Cup, and for the first time in 20 years we're running here at Knockhill in reverse direction. And on pole position we have Hannah Chapman. Hannah was very surprised, but you shouldn't be surprised, Hannah, with pole position. You came in and I saw the team saying you're on pole and you thought that they were joking.
Yeah, I just came down on Wednesday night for some practice and decided I absolutely hated it. I wasn't enjoying it. I was trying not to let on to people that I was hating it so much, but I was like, I'm just going to have to accept where I qualify and wait for Knockhill the normal way around. And then I was going around to qualifying and seeing I was down in 10th at one point. And I was like, okay. And then I seen second, then I seen first. I was like, please, 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 no one beat my lap time. And I came in and like their team confirmed I was on pole. I was just like, no way. I honestly didn't feel like I didn't feel like that was.
Can you remember what you did for that lap time, hopefully?
No, because yesterday Vic was telling me that I needed to brake later at Clark's and I was losing time at the chicane, and I didn't actually feel, I felt like I was going to come in and get told off by Vic for not making those adjustments, but I must have done something right, so I'm just hoping that I can just get away in the lead and have a nice quiet race.
Try to remember.
Yes, thank you.
Good luck. There we go, Hannah on pole position. Alongside Dominic Wheatley, had a really good start to the year. Dom, a great start to the year. The wheels kind of fell off it, literally, midway through, but now back on the front row. This is a good chance for you.
Yeah, middle of the season didn't go too well, but back at the front, hopefully use this opportunity to get some points and hopefully a win.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Let's delve a little deeper. Because we've got this reverse direction going on, it's thrown up a few strange results in the qualifying, and I'm walking all the way back here to find points leader and convincing points leader as well, Morgan Murray. I can see if I can squeeze in here if I can. Morgan, I've wondered, I just said here, it's thrown up a bit of an oddball result, this. I've wandered all the way back to where we're not seeing you, the reverse direction, causing some issues.
Yeah, I had some gearbox issues in the qualifying, so it was crunching the third gear every time I put it down, so it didn't really make my confidence very good. So yeah, we're in 5th, so we can only go up from here hopefully, so yeah.
You've got a championship to think about. We've seen sometimes when you try to play it safe and finish in the points for the championship that it doesn't seem to work for you. What's the plan? Are you treating it like a race you want to win and batter into the front, or are you just going to try to take some points here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to try and take some points, but you know yourself, once a helmet, so you just want to be at the front. It's very difficult to try and keep ahead, but yeah, keep the points and keep it consistent, and if I've got the pace to pass people, then yeah, I'll do it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Let's move one further back. Mark Gerety. Mark won twice last time out, you remember. His confidence is really high, and hopefully he'll take this net down first so we can speak to him. And Mark done a lot of testing here as well. Mark, I think I've seen you here a couple of times doing the reverse direction testing. Issues in qualifying, or just forgot what to do?
No comment about the testing, but nah, I don't particularly like the track, but it the times were a bit quicker today than yesterday, but I think it was maybe 4th quickest, so nah, hopefully not too much carnage at the first corner. Obviously Moggs has had a wee bit of issue there, changing box and everything between qualifying and racing, so I think he's got that problem sorted, but no, I'll try and work, but I think it's going to be a hard race, but try and keep out of trouble and try and score some valuable points.
Good luck, get to the end.
Cheers, Joe.
And with that, I'll hand it to Richard. Mini race number 1 heading your way.
Thank you, Joe. History being made by Hannah Chapman, taking pole position from Dominic Wheatley. Ian Munro on row 2 from Michael Weddell, Morgan Murray and Mark Gerety on row 3, and then John Duncan and Robbie Dalgleish. The top 10 completed by Chris Reed and Mike Courts. Dylan O'Donnell next from Neil Robertson, Taylor Shand and Callum Dryber row 7 from Chris Blackwell and Simon Holderness, row 9 Johnny Dreelan and Charlie Martin from Andrew Bell and Craig Blake. 21st, appropriately perhaps, number 21, Ross Wilkinson. 5-second board shown. Lighting sequence already underway, so it's going to be a quick start here. Very unusual to see the cars facing the anti-clock direction. We are underway. Hannah Chapman now. The question is, will Dominic Wheatley hold on to look round the outside, or will he slot in and try and follow Hannah Chapman down into the hairpin? Well, he does the latter, side by side for 3rd place. Ian Munro, but looking round the outside there is Michael Weddell. Weddell challenging for 3rd place with Ian Munro in yellow. They've all made a safe start. Everyone was worried when I spoke to them last weekend at the British Touring Car Championship meeting about safety down at the first corner and whether the momentum going down here will cause any problems. And I guess the early races, people are going to err on the side of caution maybe. To me, that looked like a terrific start. Everybody safe and sound, everybody mobile. Hannah Chapman out front, though, with second position Dominic Wheatley, Ian Munro in third. Simon Holden is there on the inside line of Neil Robertson. So out of McIntyre's for the first time, and then they'll go through Leslie's, a climb through Duffus to complete the first lap. And Hannah Chapman gets a lap led on the anti-clockwise circuit under her belt. A lot of people say this is the wrong way. We'll call it reverse direction or anti-clockwise to be politically correct. And you know, perhaps we'll have other events in future years here like this as well. The drivers will be keen to suss out what they can do, where they can overtake. You've heard about the testing. Many of the drivers have done a little bit of testing, but that's completely different to the race experience. You can't get the race experience here unless you hire the circuit yourself and a load of other drivers to race with. So this is a brand new experience. Testing is testing, racing is racing, and it's Hannah Chapman out front from Dominic Wheatley at the moment, with Ian Munro in third, Michael Weddell in fourth place from Mark Geraghty. Then it's John Duncan and Chris Reed. Our first errant moment of the meeting, and that I think is courtesy of Johnny Dreelan. Yes, it is Johnny. He's back on track, back on the tarmac, just in front of Craig Blake in the 95 car. Hannah Chapman leading very well here. Race-winning form before, of course, Hannah, and fancied as an overall championship contender this year, but really didn't get any luck, any decent luck, at the start of the season. She was 8th in the first two races, and then a hatload of 7th positions. A look down the inside there for Robbie Dalgleish on the championship leader Moggs Murray. So Morgan Murray, he's away down the positions and therefore away down the points at the moment, and although he has 41-point lead, that can be extinguished fairly quickly in Scottish Championship racing, because it's 25 points for a win and 10 points for 6th place. So you could lose 15 points just by being outside the top 6. So Morgan Murray won't want to lose too many positions, and you can see he's got Chris Reed immediately in front of him, the yellow and black car of John Duncan in 24 in the mix as well, and Murray coming under pressure from Robbie Dalgleish. I guess for Moggs at the moment, the significant thing is that he is ahead of Robbie Dalgleish. Dalgleish is a further 24 points clear of Mark Geraghty in the championship. So Geraghty at the moment standing to make up 2 or 3 places over Robbie and Morgan in this one, and maybe pull in some points as they come down the hill again. Hannah Chapman still leading, and a little bit defensive maybe coming down the hill from Dominic Wheatley in second place. Dylan O'Donnell there in 33. Mike Courts, what an inspiration Mike Courts is, the ex-serviceman who was injured on tour of duty in Afghanistan, and has just, you know, put that injury behind him and comes out and races. A real inspiration. Not only with his injuries, but as a racing driver anyway. He's a real talented driver, and he's putting Dylan O'Donnell under pressure. Dylan in the black and red 33, Courts in the black car the blue car with the black stripes, the red top, is putting the pressure on. Here's John Duncan right behind Mark Geraghty, going through that first turn through Leslie's, climbing up through Duffus. You can see the Beatson's Bridge, and they're coming up and over the brow, and maybe you'll see drivers start to maybe try and tee up some inside moves and get level here up the inside to make the pass on the way down into the hairpin, but the positions remaining static at the front at the moment. Mike Courts taking a wide line here. Mike Courts is thinking about momentum further on around the lap here, I would say. Takes a wide line into the hairpin, and he might try and get a run on Dylan O'Donnell. No, he can't quite do that at the moment. He's certainly closer to O'Donnell, having had that wide line into the hairpin going downhill. And he's harrying the man who won round 3 of this year's championship in the first event of the year on the 9th of April. Here's the view from Craig Blake, qualified in 20th position. Rides the curves, he's going to be another off, and keeps it pointing in the right direction. Thankfully rejoins the track. So Craig Blake having a little moment, the man from Carlisle. Here is Mike Courts having a look up the inside line. Courts, rides the sausage curb. Dylan O'Donnell runs wide, maybe looking in his mirrors, and Courts has got his nose up the inside line. Is this going to be our first 100% view of a pass here on this reverse direction race, and Courts has got the line and I think has got the position on the round 3 winner. They're side by side coming up and over the brow. Courts surely is going to have the line coming down into the hairpin. Courts side by side with O'Donnell. Here they come, and Courts does it. Well, I said he was an inspiration. Super move by Mike Courts. Thought that out. 3 or 4 corners, held onto the inside line and goes through. Those of you who said it's going to be difficult to overtake around here, you were right, but it's not impossible, as proved by Mike Courts. So Courts there, Dylan O'Donnell, then it's Neil Robertson in the similar livery to Mike Courts. Hannah Chapman still out front. Now we've got the 22 car of Michael Weddle, but Courts makes a mistake, goes wide on the dirt. O'Donnell's through. Robertson is through as well. And all that hard work for Mike Courts is undone, but he's going to fight back and have another go. Is he going to look at the inside here? No, he's still just regrouping at the moment, but he's already, in fact, he's putting pressure on Neil Robertson and getting his nose, trying to get his nose down on the inside line of Robertson, who leaves a gap. Courts won't need a second invitation for that, and he's going to try and repeat the move that he put on Dylan O'Donnell earlier on. Meanwhile, out front, Hannah Chapman still there. Michael Weddle is in second place. Dominic Wheatley is in third. This, remember, our maiden race of the championship, running anti-clockwise. Side by side, Chris Reed and Mark Geraghty ahead of John Duncan, with 91 Robbie Dalgleish challenging for position here as well. Super racing, more for you from Knockhill after the break. Welcome back to Knockhill Circuit. We're looking at car number 21, Ross Wilkinson, who is having a good battle here with Craig Blake. Remember, we saw Craig having an errant moment earlier on. He's piling the pressure on Craig Blake. Going to try and get stuck in. Chris Reed under pressure from Mark Geraghty. Morgan Murray in car number 11 at the moment, down behind John Duncan. We had some super racing here today. Dylan O'Donnell still at the moment ahead of Mike Courts. Courts trying to get back on terms with it, but Hannah Chapman still out front in this race. Michael Weddle is fastest man on track, setting the fastest lap so far on lap 4 at 63.879. So Weddle in P2 will be looking to try and pressurise Hannah Chapman into a mistake. Hannah looking for her first win. I've got to say, for me, it's having effectively a new circuit, very much an open book for everybody. It's a new experience, and it's very interesting to see who does what on this circuit. And yeah, to some extent you can say, oh, the car's not working, and off the circuit goes the 34 car of Charlie Martin. Charlie running in the ladies class, sadly out of it, but it's another lady out front, Hannah Chapman, who is still leading. Big pressure from Michael Weddle. Weddle looking for a wide line here. Remember, we saw Courts do a wide line and start to gain momentum, and Weddle looking to try and make the pass here on the inside line, but he's going to be on the outside as they come through his laps. He hasn't quite got the momentum. Hannah got a very good run there, and he's going to stay in front. The Ram Tubular's car looking absolutely mint at the moment. She's soaked up a lot of pressure so far in this race. Third place is Ian Munro. Fourth position is Dominic Wheatley, followed by Chris Reed in 29. And Hannah Chapman will be looking in her mirrors for sure, but this has been a very assured drive from her. Weddle might have fastest lap, but he's still got to try and make the pass. Hannah Chapman then coming down into, or coming up now I should say, into McIntyre's for the last time. She clears McIntyre's through Leslie's, up the hill. The Ram Tubular's car is going to take a win. It's going to be Lola taking the win. Hannah Chapman bags her first checker of the year. We come up and over the brow, down to the line. Hannah Chapman takes the win. Michael Weddle is next. Ian Munro dropped to fourth place. Dominic Wheatley getting third behind Michael Weddle. Super view here. Normally we see the cars coming up the hill, but it's down over the brow, slightly downhill. Good view of the checker, and Hannah Chapman makes history here. Pole position and race win. It was hard work for her nonetheless. Not an easy task, but a deserved race win for Hannah. Michael Weddle in second, Dominic Wheatley third from Ian Munro, Chris Reed in fifth from Robbie Dalgleish and Mark Geraghty, John Duncan next championship leader Morgan Murray, then Dylan O'Donnell in 10th. 11th goes to Mike Courts from Neil Robertson, then Simon Holderness and Taylor Shan, Callum Drybra next, Andrew Bell, Johnny Treeland, Ross Wilkinson 18th, Craig Blake, non-finish sadly for Charlie Martin and also Chris Blackhall.
Hannah Chapman, well done. What a great drive. You said to me, why did you leave it so late? You have such an up and down year, but that was a dominant performance from pole position. It's not dominant. You had to work for it.
I definitely had to work for it. I was hoping for just to get away in lap 1 and everyone else would fight behind me and lose time, but it was definitely a hard race and I worked for it, and I had Dom right on my tail and I managed to keep him behind me, and he had a moment, so I thought, okay, I can relax now, a little bit of a gap, but then my teammate Mikey just straight in behind me, so I got rid of Dom and then I got Mikey, and I'm just so glad that I made it to the finish in first. I'm just delighted.
Michael, well done. A great race, a classic mini race. You were sort of down, sort of fourth position, then up challenging for the lead. I thought at one point you were going to have it, but it was a great battle.
Yeah, no, really happy with that. I mean, yeah, especially with Hannah in front, teammate Minimax 1-2. It's really, really good. I mean, I did try a little lunge at the hairpin, but I mean, you have to think better of it when you've got the end of the championship, you can make the car to the end, and obviously you don't want to hit your teammate. So yeah, happy.
I think what we're seeing here is none of the regulars on the podium, because with the reverse direction it takes out the 20 years of experience that the regulars have got, and all of a sudden it's a level playing field.
I mean, yeah, that really, really helped. I mean, it helped the Rockingham. It's shown that it's helping here. Puts everything, like you said, an even playing field. So yeah, really happy.
Well done.
Cheers.
Dom, well done. Up and down race. 1 minute you're challenging for the lead, the next minute you're pushed back again, 2-3 wide. It was entertaining to watch, but I can tell by your face that you're not overly chuffed.
Yeah, it wasn't the direction I was hoping to make a place in, but I'll take third. It's still a podium. It's still better than I've had recently. Yeah, with it being a reverse track, the consistency's not there, the experience of the track's not there. So in a race situation, we was just trying to make them laps count, and unfortunately I made a few mistakes and dropped back, but managed to race back and get the third.
Minis race number 2, and back on pole position is race 1 winner Hannah Chapman getting strapped in. I'll have a quick word with Hannah. Hannah, this has been going, I don't want to jinx it, but it's been going really well so far. You drove brilliantly in the first one under quite a bit of pressure. Have you had to think about it? Can you break away at the front?
I've been trying not to think about it. I'm just hoping to do exactly the same again. I've got my teammate Michael behind me. I'm hoping he doesn't do anything silly and we can just work together and drive off into the distance, but nothing ever really goes to plan. But as long as I finish well, hopefully keep on to the lead.
Yeah, I saw you having a chat with him, obviously some team tactics going on there. I'm going to guess it was along the lines of don't attack me, let's work together.
Pretty much, yeah, you know it.
Yeah, I know that one. It never works.
No.
Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll step back, we'll speak to Michael, who has been going so well. I'll jump in here if I can. Michael, just said you've been going so well there, and I said when I saw you on the podium as well, it's the young team now. I don't even recognise you guys. You're making me feel that old when you come in for the podium, the top 3 drivers. Hannah is your teammate. Yeah. You want to win. Obviously, you don't want to be running into anyone or causing any issues, but you're going to play the team game?
Play the team game for the first corner. The hairpin is just a nightmare going reverse. If you're on the outside, you've got nothing. There's no grip there whatsoever. Try and fill in behind, and if Hannah makes a mistake, I'll try and capitalise on it.
Work together at the start, then fight for the last 2 laps?
Basically, yeah, you know the script.
Yeah, seen it. It won't work.
Hannah Chapman on pole then for race 2. Michael Weddell alongside Dominic Wheatley and Ian Monroe next. Chris Reed and Bobby Dalgleish. Mark Geraghty and John Duncan row 4. Morgan Murray and Dylan O'Donnell completing the 5th row. Row 6, Mike Courts and Neil Robertson. Simon Holderness and Taylor Shan next from Callum Driver and Andrew Bell. Then it's Johnny Dreelan and Ross Wilkinson, Craig Blake and Charlie Martin on finishing from race number 1, as was Chris Blackhall. Good to welcome Charlie Martin, the lady driver, to the championship. So Scottish Championship's got a very rich history of lady drivers over the years, and it's Hannah Chapman who starts on pole position, looking to bag another win here. Are we going to see an extension of that pattern where the race 1 winner has won race 2? All of the other meetings, of course, have been run clockwise. This one could be different, but Hannah leads away well. Michael Weddell in second. Good move there from Chris Reed, having a look round the outside line. And I agree with Joe Tanner's point on the podium interview, which was to say that really all of the experience goes out of the window. And that's why you can maybe see new drivers just trying to work out. I think we'll see a little bit more, not commitment, that's the wrong word, but you'll see drivers now starting to explore different lines. Little bit of a wobble there for Dominic Wheatley, who's coming under pressure here from Robbie Dalgleish, who's hard on the brakes and outbrakes him into the chicane. Great move from Dalgleish. We're on board with Dominic Wheatley here, who's got to give chase now. That was very fierce indeed. Wheatley back on the case, gets very close. Mr. Whippy from the car in front. Wheatley's off into the gravel. That's going to slow him down big time. He's lost 4, 5, 6 places. He's lost more than that, but he has rejoined the circuit. So Wheatley with bags of work to do. Immediately in front of us now, Ross Wilkinson in the 21, as our pit wall cam shows 3 wide with Taylor Shand in the middle, and cars every which way. Shand manages to go through. The 2 cars involved, Ross Wilkinson just reversing and tapping into Callum Dryber. Both of those out hopefully are okay. Craig Blake coming through. Here's a replay. They were 3 wide going up the straight, and then just a tag. How the 21 car didn't hit more, I don't know. That's Ross Wilkinson, who gyrates. There was an avoidance there as well from Dominic Wheatley. Dominic had already been off circuit. And now will we see Callum Dryber and Ross Wilkinson continue in the race? I suspect a fair amount of damage will see them potentially out of it, as Mike Courts starts to impose a little bit of pressure now on the championship leader Morgan Murray. Having said all the things about reverse grid racing, the championship standings were pretty much unaffected. I mean, there were changes, safety car coming out, probably a good time to talk about championship standings. Unsurprisingly, Ross Wilkinson and Callum Dryber need to be sorted out. The 2 changes in position were Dylan O'Donnell dropped down from 5th, I think, into 7th by my maths. Ian Munro moves up to 5th. And Hannah Chapman, with a very good score, of course, being the race winner, moves up into 6th position. And he's 1 point ahead of Dylan O'Donnell at the moment. And if she can hold on to this win as well, will improve that even more. So a couple of decent races will puts Hannah back in championship mode. But in terms of the leaders, Morgan Murray picked up 7 points. He only dropped 3 to Robbie Dalgleish in race number 1. And Mark Geraghty had 9 points, so he only lost 2 points to Mark Geraghty. So things haven't changed really for the top 3 in the championship, as we are about to go green. So Hannah Chapman might not have been aware of what went on, but she'll have seen the cars when they went past on the safety car lap. Ian Munro is challenging hard and looks at the outside line. Is he going to tuck back down the inside? I suppose there's the option to maybe sell a dummy. Side by side there, Robbie Dalgleish up ahead of the championship leader at the moment. Mike Court side by side with Dylan O'Donnell in the 33, so those 2 picking up where they left off in the previous race. Courts has got the inside line. O'Donnell trying to get involved as well. John Duncan in behind. Hannah Chapman is breaking the toe now, and it's Ian Munro in 2nd position. Michael Weddell is 3rd. Chris Reed running in 4th place from Mark Geraghty. Mike Courts has leapfrogged up the order here, and Mike Courts then certainly not hanging about and making some good passes over the course of the meeting. Here's Dominic Wheatley looking to recover from that off earlier on, still looking to try and get on terms with Taylor Shand here. And let's see what Dominic Wheatley can do. He'll know he'll have the pace, and he's going to look at the outside line. Immediately ahead is the red car of Simon Holderness, the man from Wakefield. Now is Taylor Shand going to cede the position? It looks like a problem for Robbie Dalgleish, who he passed at very rapid speed. So Dalgleish losing out. Wheatley will... that's quite significant championship-wise, because remember, Dalgleish 2nd in the standings, Wheatley 4th, and might close in on him. Dylan O'Donnell up ahead of the championship leader. So Morgan Murray dropping back. I think he'll be maybe contemplating drop scores. Welcome back to Knockhill, 2nd race of 3 on our reverse circuit meeting, and it's Hannah Chapman that won race 1. She's leading race 2 as well. So a few surprises though. Unusual to see Morgan Murray, the championship leader, a fair way back. He's got Neil Robertson ahead of him at the moment. Murray running well shy of the top. He's got a decent championship lead, as we mentioned in race number 1. The main championship position's not really affected, but Robbie Dalgleish we saw have a problem before the break, and problems too for Craig Blake, having had a moment off the circuit race number 1. We got the safety car out again, because as you can see, that is a pretty much prone position. Hannah Chapman out front from Ian Munro. Surprising that Ian, like Hannah coming into this meeting, hadn't had a race win. We go green again, and Munro must fancy his chances here of maybe taking a win. It's Mark Geraghty at the moment in third place. Michael Weddle is in fourth place. Munro takes a wide sweep here. Could be about momentum for him. There is Chris Reed still chasing Weddle, and Mike Courts in the mix as well. Hannah Chapman, though, still in lead position. Munro thinks about trying to pass on the inside. That converts to the outside as they go around Hislop's and down in towards Clark. So we're on board with the second place car. Hannah Chapman looking to maintain the Knockhill pattern here of the driver who wins race 1 winning race 2, but we can't really expect anything with this anti-clockwise meeting. Now challenge on for third place. Weddle looking to pass Geraghty, gets the move done into the chicane. Good move by Michael Weddle. Geraghty down into fourth position now. So Weddle in 8th position in the championship, 176 points. I tell you what, he's going to make a little bit of progress here, as is Hannah Chapman in terms of the points. Mark Geraghty third in the standings, and looking to score as well, so it might be a little change. But look at that, Chris Reed gets the pass done along the straight. Chapman still under pressure from Ian Munro in this second race, and Hannah's and everybody else's attention, of course, in the later stages of this race will turn to the partially reversed grid. Who's going to be on pole position for that? But it's Hannah Chapman. She's still got to earn this win for sure. So Hannah out front, breaking clear. Ian Munro in second position. You tend to think that it's going to be between these two for the race win. Michael Weddle still running in that third position from Chris Reed. Mark Geraghty in 5th place at the moment. Mike Courts in behind them, but Hannah Chapman still dealing with the pressure. Race number 1, Michael Weddle got the fastest lap at the moment. In this one, it's with Dominic Wheatley, so whether that's a little bit of red mist from Dominic, it was back on lap 5. So he's continuing to try and climb his way through the order, Dominic Wheatley. He's passed a few cars, but he'll be, I guess, aiming to try and get in as the cars go on to the last lap, trying to get into the reverse grid territory, which is a possibility. Here we are then, Michael Weddle coming under pressure then. He's in third place at the moment, but Hannah Chapman still reading this circuit very well indeed. Ian Munro, a vastly experienced driver as well, of course, a former champion elsewhere in the Scottish Championships, and putting Hannah under a lot of pressure. Hannah herself used to the top step of the podium. This is going to be very confidence building for her. Chris Reed still there in third position on track at the moment. So Reed looks like he's going to complete the podium, but it's Hannah Chapman still there. Ian Munro might be our last roll of the dice here. There isn't room to make the pass on the inside line. Coming through McIntyre's, up through Leslie's, the climb up towards the checkered flag. Hannah Chapman surely is going to make it 2 out of 2 here. This has been a great weekend so far for Hannah. Pole position, win in race number 1, followed by another win in race number 2. Hannah Chapman, there it is, there's the checker. Ian Munro takes second position on the road. Third place goes to Chris Reed, but there's a penalty in the offing for him. That's going to drop him down the order. So Hannah Chapman takes the win. Ian Munro next from Michael Weddle, Mark Geraghty and Mike Courts in 5th. Chris Reed down to 6th from John Duncan and Neil Robertson. Dylan O'Donnell 9th. Morgan Murray in 10th place from Dominic Wheatley. Then it was Simon Holderness and Taylor Shand. Johnny Dreeland 14th from Andrew Bell. Ross Wilkinson 16th. And Charlie Martin, that's her first finish, in 17th.
Hannah, with an armful of trophies, what side of bed did you get out of this morning? Unbelievable, everything. I mean, you've got the pace. When the safety car comes out, you think, oh God, that's going to ruin it, but you've got the pace to go again.
Yeah, I didn't get off to as good a start as I thought. I did get a good start off the line, but I messed up going out of McIntyre, so I was actually, in a way, normally I'd be dreading the safety car, but I was quite glad to have a second chance of getting away from them, and I think I did well in my first safety car restart, and then it came out again, and Ian Munro was behind me, and he was just on the ball for my restart, so he was right behind me until the end, and I think if there'd been one more lap he might have had me. He was just putting me under so much pressure, and I was making a few tiny mistakes. I was just being cautious not to overdo it, so I'm glad I got another win. I can't believe it.
I know you wait all this time, and you've had 3 overall now, but 2 within 2 hours.
It's crazy. I've had such a bad season up until now, and then I was saying all week I don't really like Knockhill reverse. I'm not liking it that much, not getting used to it, and then I go and qualify pole, win race 1, win race 2, so it's the best thing that could have happened for my team, Minimax Motorsport, and for my sponsors, Ram Tubulars, Nexus 24, Whitehall. Ajmal Steel, Sightmaster Enterprises. There's a few to name, but I'm naming them all this time, so yeah, I'm really happy.
Well done, Hannah. Let's see if you can do it in race 3 because it's 5th that you're going to start. It is doable. We've seen it done.
I'll give it my best shot. It's quite hard to overtake on here, but, well, I can imagine. I don't know. I've been leading all day, but we'll see.
Well done. Ian, well done. I thought the win was on after the second restart. You went with her and you were quite clear, and I thought maybe, but she's got some serious pace there, and you did well to stay with her, I think.
Yeah, quick and straight, and I was having a go every time at hairpin. I thought every lap was going to be the last lap, so I was like, it's now or never. But then another lap would come, and another lap, and I was like, oh, if I'd known, I would have tried to set something up a wee bit better, maybe. But no, car's quick, it's going well, so enjoyed that one.
Off the reverse grid, you're going to be 3rd or 4th. You can win from there.
Well, I was 4 there, and I came through, so car seems good. I'm pretty confident with it, so can make some moves.
Well done.
All right, cheers.
Michael, well done. Here on the podium with the newcomers, but it was 4th. Yep. It was 4th anyway, so you were in the hunt there. You were 3rd for a while. We coming together with Chris twice, I think. A bit of argy-bargy and a big sideways moment as well near the start of the race.
Yeah, probably sideways. I think I was going the normal way instead of going the reverse way at one point, but no, I managed to save it. I don't know how. I just remember seeing cars going all over the shop, but yeah, quite happy to get another newcomers win.
For the pace that you've got, you've probably the happiest with the reverse grid. You're going to be, I'm guessing, on the front row.
Yeah, so I don't know where I don't know what number got pulled out.
5th.
Yeah, so yeah, not too bad for me actually. So yeah, hopefully we can use that pace to our advantage.
Well done.
Cheers.
Minis race number 3, lining up with Michael Courts on pole position. Michael, pop your net down. Let's have a quick chat. You've been in the thick of it all day, but the reverse grid has worked nicely for you.
Yeah, absolutely. We've kind of had a bad qualifying, so we've just been chipping our way towards the front, and it's worked out in the end for us.
Not had an overall win yet, but this could be a good chance for you.
Yeah, if there's ever going to be a chance, it's kind of now. I'm aware that there's guys behind me fighting for a championship, so we'll just play the race by ear and see what happens.
Good luck.
Thanks very much.
Keep moving back. Last time we were here, 2 wins for this man here, Mark Garrity. I can pronounce his surname now. It's only taken me a year. Mark, I'm going to say a quiet weekend so far, but this is a really good chance on the front row.
Yeah, last race there, managed to climb up a bit. Come out the hairpin. Weddell did get a wee tag, came together. Steering was off. Toe was in, it was just dragging, so I was really struggling towards the end there, but ALM's managed to get the setup back on it. Hopefully we can get past Michael here. Nothing too silly, got to think championship wise, but no, hopefully get past and try and get another win, but nothing too silly.
You know the track quite well. You've done a fair bit of testing around here as well.
Yeah, I know this again.
I'm only joking. Good luck. I'm just winding him up. He's only done a couple of days. Who else have we got? John Duncan. I was just speaking to him. He's got some issues with a straight line speed. He's only 7th. Let's speak to Morgan Murray. We did speak to him a little bit earlier on, but if you go in that side, I'll go around the other side. Try not to break his window. And I'll have a quick chat with the points leader. Morgan, playing a sensible game, gearbox issues. What's the story? Keeping out of trouble?
Yeah, we've got a few gearbox issues. Changed 2 this weekend already. Staying out of trouble. I can stick my nose in a few places, but sometimes it leads to DNFs, so I'm just keeping it consistent, collecting some points and having a sensible head.
Good luck.
Here's the grid for race 3. Mike Courts on pole from Mark Garrity, Michael Weddell and Dominic Wheatley row 2. Hannah Chapman double winner on row 3 with Chris Reed. John Duncan is next with Neil Robertson, then it's Dylan O'Donnell and championship leader Morgan Murray. Dominic Wheatley next with Simon Holden, it's Taylor Shand and Johnny Dreelan. Andrew Bell and Ross Wilkinson row 8. Charlie Martin and Robbie Dalgleish, followed by Craig Flake and Chris Blackhall with Callum Dryborough, one of the non-finishers in race number 2, starting at the very back of the field. So it's Courts and Garrity on the front row of the grid. Lights are on. A long wait. Out go the lights. Side by side, Courts and Garrity. Weddell and Munro on row 2 with Hannah Chapman starting in 5th place. Here we come. Michael Courts has got that inside line. He's keeping it fairly tight. Looks like Garrity might go for a run. The key thing is whether or when you slot back in behind the race leader. Garrity's done it. Hannah Chapman's still there and in the mix, and in fact in 4th position. So Michael Weddell is in 3rd, Garrity ahead, but right up front at the moment is Mike Courts. Joe was really, I think, winding Mike up, saying you haven't had that overall win yet. And pole position, he's been driving very well on this reverse circuit. It's so good to see new drivers and breaking the pattern really of the season we've got. Not that there's been anything wrong with the season so far, but it's just refreshing to see different drivers. You can see Dominic Wheatley getting stuck in there. I think he's going to make the pass on Simon Holderness, which he does. Taylor Shand coming through on the inside line as well. That 91 car of Robbie Dalgleish starting technically out of position. Obviously championship front runner. The gap between second and third in the championship down to 11 points now by my maths. Mark Geraghty may well sneak second position here if Robbie Dalgleish in that red car doesn't make too much progress. A little look down the inside there from Geraghty in the 67. Hannah Chapman coming under pressure from Ian Munro again. Chris Reed side by side there with Neil Robertson. Then it's Morgan Murray in behind. Morgan's going to be really pleased that he had a decent championship lead. And of course, really extended that in race number 2 with Robbie Dalgleish's retirement. But Mark Geraghty's made a little inroad into Murray's overall lead, and that's going to be fascinating to watch how it changes as we get into the last 2 meetings of the year. Errant car there coming out of Clark. We focus on Chris Reed putting Munro under pressure. Ian Munro still busy chasing after Hannah Chapman in 4th place. Michael Weddle running in 3rd place here for race 3 of our anti-clockwise race meeting. Coming into Clark Corner, watch how it dips away on the exit of Clark. It's been a fascinating meeting, it really has, and really good to ride on board with Michael in 3rd place. Watch the view here as we go into the chicane. On the normal clockwise version, you can't see the exit of the chicane, but you can here, so it really is a completely different perspective. Couple of cars behind Weddle, 23 Ian Munro. He's made some inroads, made up a couple of championship positions, and Ian, by my reckoning, up to 5th in the standings. Chris Reed immediately behind, and then you'll see Hannah Chapman coming into shot as well. Hannah, I think, up into 4th place in the championship now, I reckon, on 207 points. She's 1 point clear of Ian Munro, but that's all subject to official confirmation, and my maths is not particularly reliable. Down the hill they come. Dominic Wheatley in the mix-up ahead of Dylan O'Donnell. Taylor Shand going through as well, and all of the drivers settling in to the Johnny Dreeland settling in. He's going to make the pass here. Dreeland down the inside line. That was a great move by Johnny Dreeland, makes up the position. Read that very well indeed. So Dreeland makes up a place. Up ahead of there we've got Charlie Martin, lady racer in the 34. Newcomer to racing, I believe he's done a bit of hill climbing. Got Johnny immediately ahead. Race leaders going through with Mike Courts still out front. Down towards us come the runners with Chris Reed now with Hannah Chapman right behind. Morgan Murray behind Hannah Chapman here. Murray, in terms of the championship, will again bag some decent points here. And fair to say, I wouldn't say he's had his foot off the gas here, but this is the round when, you know, at some point during the year you're going to get a round that's a little bit below par. Murray, if he comes away with championship lead, I reckon Mark Geraghty, because by the way we've got a non-finish for Robbie Dalgleish again. It's getting very, very tight going into the hairpin. Still looking ahead at Dominic Wheatley. Championship, as I was saying, Mark Geraghty, assuming he finishes this race, will move into 2nd place. He was 3rd coming into the meeting. So Robbie Dalgleish will drop down to 3rd. Hannah Chapman, I think, will, if she finishes where she's staying, 4th place in the standings. Even with another win, won't be able to pull any more points up than that. And Ian Munro's got off. Ian Munro is out. Munro off the circuit. Now, is that a problem? Is he going to continue? Yes, he is continuing. So Munro will lose a hatload of points. We'll have to work out where he rejoins. We're looking at Mark Geraghty and Michael Weddle in 2nd and 3rd place. This one, to be fair, at the front is not as close as the other races. Michael Courts has got his head down. When he was talking to Joe, it did sound like, you know, he had some problems in qualifying, and I got the impression that he felt he'd worked through those problems. And he got up into 5th place. Could have been Chris Reed, couldn't it, up in the front group. He's running there in 29. Morgan Murray immediately behind. Hannah Chapman still in the mix as well, but it's Courts, Geraghty and Weddell out front. Here is the view from Dylan O'Donnell in with the front group as well. They're trying to hunt down Neil Robertson. That move has been made on Robertson by Dominic Wheatley in car number 4, and it's going to be the outside line here or not. Robertson still hanging on, leaves the door open and just trying to slot through. Is this going to happen, or is Robertson going to maintain the momentum? Well, he can't do it, so look how close they get going through into the chicane. Into Butchers, then into McIntyre's, then up to Leslie's, and the climb up through Duffus. Chris Reed having a little bit of an errant moment there, kicks up some dirt. Is that going to lose him momentum and possibly places as well? Mike Courts the race leader, Mark Geraghty in second, Michael Weddell, who's had a decent points haul again this weekend as well. Weddell came into the meeting in 8th place. He's been picking up some useful points this weekend as well, and he's looking at another podium here with Hannah Chapman in 4th place. So Hannah for 4th place will pick up another 14 championship points. So things looking pretty good for Hannah to annex or hold on to 4th position after this race. Johnny Dreelan coming under pressure from Callum Driver, and Driver looking to effect the pass, goes down through on the inside line. Driver's car damaged after that incident that we had earlier on. Andrew Bell in the mix as well, who we saw Dreelan passing earlier on. Chris Blackhall in 77 enjoying his race there, and a good quartet battle here. We get a side on with Andrew Bell in the 50 car. Good to see Andrew back. I was thinking we haven't seen him for a while. Of course, he was. We last saw him, I think, in the May meeting as Chris Reed goes wide down into the hairpin, putting the pressure on Morgan Murray. Here's Michael Weddell. This is the battle for 2nd place. Mark Geraghty still there at the moment. Weddell will probably be thinking about championship points, and he'll also be thinking that there's more points to be had by grabbing 2nd place. Mike Courts still out front. Chris Reed's got the fastest lap of this one so far, and it's been a fascinating race. Still is between those. Courts still out front looking for that first win. Close for 2nd. Hannah Chapman in 4th place. Morgan Murray is next up from Chris Reed. Chris Reed followed by Dominic Wheatley. Wheatley, of course, got bundled to the back in that previous one after that off, and when you end up at the back, you have to work your way back through the field over the course of the races. So Wheatley's done a more than respectable job of getting back up into the positions. Could set him up for a decent run into the end of the championship. But on to the last lap, Mike Courts. This is very much, again, history in the making. Mike Courts, I said what an inspiration he is. Was injured on a tour of duty in Afghanistan. He's been an absolute ambassador for injured servicemen, and he's leading this race. He was superb in races 1 and 2, and he soaked up pressure in the lead, and it is a big pressure place to be, but he is in the lead, and it looks like he's going to hang on to this because he's got distance between himself and Mark Geraghty. Geraghty coming under pressure from Michael Weddell. Hannah Chapman's been impressive again. She's in 4th place and is going to bag the good points here in Lola, but it is Michael Courts who comes through McIntyre's for the last time, through Leslie's, starts the climb uphill, and Mike Courts surely is going to take a maiden win in the Celtic Speed Scottish Mini Cooper Cup. He's leading this one. Mark Geraghty is in 2nd. Look for the checker, there it is, Michael Courts wins, fantastic. Mark Geraghty 2nd, Michael Weddell 3rd, Hannah Chapman in 4th place, Dominic Wheatley came through for 5th position, then Chris Reed, Neil Robertson 7th, Morgan Murray finishes in 8th place from Dylan O'Donnell. Taylor Shand grabs 10th position. So a great result for Taylor. 11th position is Ian Munro recovering. Chris Blackhall next from Ross Wilkinson. Johnny Dreelan 14th. Callum Driver, Andy Bell and Charlie Martin in 17th.
Hannah, what a weekend. 2 wins to start it off from pole position, and a really sensible but aggressive drive there as well to take home the Ladies' Cup, 4th overall. That's got to be your most successful weekend overall.
Definitely, it's been the best race weekend I've had, and I really wasn't expecting it. I prepared myself mentally for the worst. I was like, I'll just deal with whatever happens this weekend. And then I go and qualify pole and win the first 2 races, and I was really happy with how race 3 went, because I got stuck in, was fighting, but I was really clean and fair, I think. And I got off to a really good start in race 1, on lap 1, and got straight into 4th place, and I made a mistake and lost 2 places, but I got them back, so it was a really good race. I was catching the front 3. I just wish there was a few more laps just to try and get myself on the podium, but really happy.
Michael, well done. You had a great weekend, consistently at the front. You didn't quite pull off the win there, but 3 podiums.
Yeah, you can't complain. Like you say, consistently in the podium, so that's the main thing. Got to look towards the end of the season now, so make it to the end, hopefully accident free.
Yeah, and championship-wise, it's not done you any harm this weekend. You've holding a good hunk of points. I know Morgan's got a healthy lead, but he's had a sensible weekend.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm mainly focused on the newcomers now anyway, because I was 7th in the championship before this, but I think a good haul of points in the newcomers, definitely. Trying to get the 3rd one off with Mark there, but no, he wasn't letting me have it. So, but yeah, good day.
Well done.
Cheers.
Mark, well done. I've just remembered there, that was not only a fight for 2nd place, but it was also a fight for the newcomers as well, which is important.
No, I wasn't want to let Michael get away with a clean sweep in the newcomers this weekend. Yeah, he's coming on great. He is getting quick, but I think beginning of the season he kind of building up his confidence. So him taking wins, I wasn't wanting to fight him too much because he's a wee bit behind, but he is creeping up. So we've got to keep an eye on him. But no, I'd like to thank ELM for sorting out the car, because after me and Michael had come together race 2, the steering was all over the place. So that's a struggle drop from 3rd back to 5th, and then obviously there's penalties handed out, so I got 4th. So happy to take 4th. But going into that race, no, it was made a wee mistake which compromised up the straight, let Michael get away. But no, happy the points. I think Morgan was further back, and then Robbie I think had not a great weekend, so it's climbing me up. So I don't think I'm quite in 2nd position yet, but we're closing it.
Well done on the result.
Yeah, thanks. Obviously, I'd like to thank sponsors. Without them, I wouldn't be here. Main sponsor, Bonthron Security Services. They pick up the tyre bill, so that always helps. Also, Grassic BMW Mini, and all the other ones, because same again, I keep saying it again and again, but without them, I wouldn't be here, so thanks.
Well done.
Thank you.
Michael, well done. Race win there. You were kind of near the front-ish, within the sort of top 6 most of the weekend. Qualifying wasn't great, but you made your way up there. Reverse grid worked well, and they started fighting, and it was one of them, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's obviously we've come to a brand new circuit. We've had to work hard on getting the car going good round here. I've had to learn it from scratch as of yesterday. So the team's done phenomenal in the background to get me with some sort of pace. We qualified 10th, not great but not bad, and we've just worked our way forward from there. I still can't believe that just happened. So yeah, it's a team game. The team have been phenomenal with the setup of the car. There wasn't any balance change throughout the races. The car was the same from start to finish in all 3 races. So I've really got them to thank for this, because once I got the start, seen the guys behind me were battling away, and all I had to do was get the head down and shoot for the finish line.
Well done. Well, unfortunately, that brings the racing to a close from the minis, but well done to Michael on his first win, and also Hannah Chapman taking the double as well. Join us next time for more mini action.